Well, before I sign off for the day, I just got through watching Chelsea Handler's, was it Hello Privilege? It's Me Chelsea on Netflix, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I was shocked to learn some of the things I learned about her as a person. Chelsea Handler is one of those comedians that I just didn't get, and usually when it's one of those comedians that I have a hard time like paying attention to, I just throw them away, and I'm like, I don't need to go back. But for some reason, she's always kind of stayed relevant and kind of clawed back into to gain my attention. Whether it was the 50 Cent thing, and then her talk show deal I think she had on Netflix, and now to this. And I gotta say, I've totally changed my mind about how I feel about it. The one thing I enjoyed about the documentary is the fact that she was not afraid to take the punches that were obviously going to come at her. Some people called her out on it. Feel free to edit this out, but I don't appreciate you for doing this. I don't appreciate the name of your old book, or you got to be kidding me and all this other stuff. And I got to give her credit. She kept it in there. The fact that she's willing to take those hits and to call herself out, it's because in a lot of ways it's not enough that a person, because here's one of the things that liberals get a bad rap on, is the ones that are too pushy over the top. Because a lot of people who grow up in this generation that's never had a real taste of what's used to happen, hell, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 70s, in the 60s, and really felt what their parents or grandparents and whatnot had to go through. um, I can tell you some stories that my great grandmother told me about how my family got started, right? And you don't feel what's going on. So for a person who's a white person to come into a situation and go, and you have certain type of people that some say, I just don't see it because it's not a part of my life. Well, I mean, that should tell you something. You don't believe it's real because you don't it never affected you. So but who are you if you've never seen it? Who are you to say that it's not happening to somebody else that doesn't look like you? If I'm telling you that it's happening to somebody who looks opposite of you, and you say, I've never seen it, because but I don't live with people. I mean, like, if you can say that, if you live in an all black neighborhood and you go, I've never seen racism and whatnot, then that's one thing, because you're never gonna say that. But if you're a person that doesn't live in these neighborhoods and never grew up with these in these situations and whatnot, shouldn't that tell you something? And I feel like that's what she was trying to get at. And a lot of people were getting it, a lot of people weren't. But then I feel like there's some liberals out there who will be just like, even they don't even see their own privilege, even if they're the ones trying to make things better, so to speak, right? But then you'll get some people that be like, I actually saw a rally where a dude got up in front of on a microphone and stopped interrupted the whole show and literally said, point of privilege. I just want to point out that, and then then you start attacking people that actually agree with you. And it just gets that's the one thing that always gets to me about about liberalism. You get people who we're not afraid to eat our own. Let me put it to you like that. I mean, it's like, if you're not hugging that tree hard enough, then the wolves come at you, right? And it turns a lot of people off. But the points were made, and it was nice that it's not a person of color's job to teach you and make you feel comfortable. And I love the fact that a lot of people said this ain't gonna get solved with one documentary. Hell, it's pretentious of you to think that I mean, you don't see your own privilege where you're doing a documentary about your privilege. You're about to make money off of this, right? I mean, it hit hard. So, but I love the fact that it didn't hide those truths. That this is bigger than your little documentary. Um, I was also shocked to see hear the whole history about her ex-boyfriend, and being pregnant a couple of times, and that her father comes in, straight up, let's go get that abortion and stuff like that. I mean, things like that. It made that 50 Cent situation make more sense, right? So little stuff like that, I was like, wow, I didn't know. I didn't know. Um, uh, and it just made me see her in a whole different light. So I enjoyed the documentary for what it attempted to do, but I really enjoyed it more for the fact that people who were in the documentary called it out for what it was not going to accomplish, and that's what I liked about it the most. So It accomplished a lot more than it's giving itself credit for. But it's not. If that makes sense, it's not. It doesn't need to get the credit for it. The people who were calling it out deserve that credit, and I love that about this documentary. And that being said, I stuff like this, it always makes me think, like in a conversation about race. The thing that I was reminded of, I felt while I was talking to myself while watching this thing, I remember I said to myself something like this. Now, I don't like talking to people who feel like they know it all, who got it all figured out, who know they come at you and you know what they say. They'll say, "Well, I don't see racism, and I don't see people as, you know, as a race or thing, because you're lying." And here's why: because people who say that stuff to you, here's another thing that they don't see. It's hard for them to see proof. When you got a person that comes up to you and says, "Well, I don't see race, and I don't see racism. I just don't see it." Well, it's probably going to be hard for you to see evidence too, or facts, because the second I show it to you, you're gonna have one or two reactions. One of two. You're gonna go, "Oh my God, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I was not aware," and change your whole thought process. Or you'll find a way to blame, the person for it. Like the part of the documentary where they were talking about the schools and whatnot, or the scenario why this area is not getting funded as much as as this school is not getting funded as much as that school, or when a person gets arrested for the same crime, why one goes to jail and one doesn't, and stuff like that. People they'll either see it or they won't. They just won't see it. They'll like what is that, those group of women, what did they say? They said something like, "I just don't like it when companies are forced to have to include people of color and whatnot, because slavery happened so long ago, and people need to get over it. But it's not fair that we have to force. Well, monopolies are illegal in this country, and racism is a form of monopoly. If it's funny how people like that will, because it takes a shock to the system, like, stop monopolizing on the fact that you're only having one group of people only benefiting from this thing that's supposed to be for the public. And now you're going to be forced to include everybody, women, black people, Hispanic, whatever the situation is. They get mad at the small group that's been being denied it. Instead of getting mad at the system, who were, maybe if they were doing the right thing from 100 years ago and they won, maybe the pie would have been, big enough for everybody, and nobody would have been getting turned down today. But no, they decided to keep it small, keep it only for one group to benefit from. And then now the government comes in and says, this is going to stop. And so now some kid, and then the other situation in that same conversation, these women did not see it. They just did not see it. Where one woman was like, "Oh, so you're saying you do see white privilege?" And she went, "Oh no, I'm not saying that. I don't see. I don't think there is white privilege, but I do see how there is disprivilege. I don't know how she put it towards minorities." I'm like, "Woman, you just said you just said the exact same thing. It's like a casino. If I go into a casino and I hit the slot machine and I pull the thing and I get $1 million out of that slot machine, the casino don't get $1 million. I don't get $1 million, and the casino don't get somebody loses. You can't say, I don't see, this privilege. I don't see that's not happening, but I do see this whatever the hell she said, disprivileging happening to minorities. That is happening. Well, if somebody is losing, that means somebody is winning. It just kills me. Like I said, there's just some people out there in the world that if they feel like they don't see race and they don't see racism, they don't see facts. They just don't see proof. And those are the ones you got to worry about. And that's what I feel like this documentary pointed out pretty heavily. It's not going to solve anything today. It's not going to. It's big. The rabbit hole goes deeper than a Netflix special. And I feel like that was said very well. And that's what I got from it. So I enjoyed it. I think Chelsea did a good job, and at the same time, I think she did a great job calling out the fact that she's probably not the one to be giving this message out. But the effort was there, and like I said, I appreciate more that she called herself out more than she gave herself a cookie. She didn't give herself that many cookies. She did a couple of times, but she didn't give herself a cookie or give herself a ribbon throughout the whole movie. Oh, I'm awesome because I see it. I'm woke. I'm great. No, she didn't do that. She goes, hey, I'm I'm not the one. I'm sorry, but but then they say that, but it's good that you're trying. So that was good. So for that, if that makes sense, let me know if you guys have seen it yet. If um, what you thought about it as a person of color or as a white person. What do you think about it? You look at that and go, that's a bunch of poor shit. Lando Calrissian was a black guy. He got to fly the Millennium Falcon, right? Right. Then let me know what you guys think, guys. Put it in the box below, and until next time.